This episode of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown features Polar Light's Kane, Bronco's Blohm Voss dive bomber, Cam's Vickers-Carden-Loyd tank, and Airfix's Boulton-Paul Defiant. Hi, and welcome to another edition of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown. I'm Tim Kidwell.
And I'm Aaron Skinner. We have 4 exciting kits for you today, starting with one that has me over LV426 with joy.
It's Polar Light's 1/9 scale Executive Officer Kane from Ridley Scott's 1979 film Alien, which really planted the flag for science fiction horror.
Yeah, and it's been my all-time favorite movie since a friend of mine convinced me to overcome my distaste of horror and watch it late at night, VHS, tiny little screen. Thanks, Rob.
It's been more than 20 years since we've seen a kit of one of the characters or the alien from the Alien franchise, and this is really a good fit for Polar Lights.
Yeah, they have a really deep science fiction catalog. What's new here is the choice of material.
Yeah, this is a resin kit, not plastic. And Polar Lights is sort of selling this as a, what is it? It's a limited run.
Limited run.
One run of fun, I think is what they're calling it.
One run of fun. And fun is exactly what you will have with this. The parts come fitted into layers of foam rubber.
The castings are some of the best resin parts we've seen, with no visible pinholes and no pore plugs to be removed.
Any extra material on the parts is used as locating tabs for assembly.
Bill Weiger, who has worked on Hollywood movies as well as for several model companies, sculpted the scene.
It replicates the critical moment in the movie when Kane encounters the hold full of eggs and is leaning over to examine one as it opens.
The face is a good likeness of John Hurt.
The detail in the suit is amazing. Check out the chest plates and shoulder pads.
Fit is clean. Just pressing the parts together shows that the majority of the seams will be nearly invisible.
A little filler and sanding should eliminate any sign of the joints.
The large helmet has detail on the inside, and clear parts fill the visor and chin readout.
Clear parts are also provided for Kane's flashlight, overhead light, and panels on the backpack.
The egg is cast in translucent resin with an insert for the face hugger lurking inside.
All of these details attached to a detailed base.
Straightforward assembly instructions are presented on an A4 sheet.
Very detailed color and painting directions are printed inside and outside of the lower half of the box,
including pictures of a full-size spacesuit prop. A small decal sheet has uniform markings and equipment displays.
Wow, there's a lot here, and it looks like it should be a relatively easy build. Most of the work's going to be in the painting.
Polar Lights is already working on other kits like this, including the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz and King Kong from the 1933 movie.
Speaking of exotic subjects, let's take a look at Bronco's 1/72nd scale Blohm Voss BV P178.
Now this is a jet-powered dive bomber designed by the Germans in late World War II, but none were actually built.
Like many of Blohm Voss's designs, this is asymmetrical. A single Jumo jet engine sits starboard of the fuselage on the wing.
It was to be piloted by a single crew and designed to carry either a 500-pound or 1,000-pound bomb.
A pair of rockets in the tail helped it on takeoff.
Molded in light gray plastic, the parts have fine engraved panel lines and hatch details.
The cockpit is simple, but includes a tub with molded detail on the side consoles, a seat, pedals, control stick, and instrument panel.
There's even some structural detail inside the fuselage, as well as inside the wheel wells.
The engine has front fan and after body details.
The rocket tubes have hollow exhausts. Fine parts, such as pitot tubes and antennas, look close to scale thin.
So too are the landing gear legs and struts. Optional doors allow for the model to be displayed in flight.
A single 1,000-pound bomb is supplied. The clear parts look sharp, and the canopy can be posed open or closed.
This is a paper project, so any markings will be speculative, but that doesn't stop Bronco from including markings for 5 P178s.
In addition to a World War II Luftwaffe scheme, the sheet features aircraft from Finland, the Axis-aligned Italian Nationalist Republic Air Force, Hungary, and Romania.
This is Bronco's first 1/72nd scale aircraft kit and should appeal to fans of Luft 46 subjects.
Let's take a look at some armor now. It's Combat Armor Model's 1/35th scale A4 E12 light amphibious tank.
This is Cam's second kit of this vehicle, a 1931 British design, which was built in small numbers for foreign armies.
The colonial government of the Dutch East Indies ordered 2. And one of them saw brief action against the Japanese in 1942.
The kit comprises 4 beautifully molded sprues, 2 of which are the same. Check out the quality of delicate parts like the Lincoln length tracks.
The rest of the suspension is simple 6-part bogies and toothy drive sprockets.
The latter will need careful work to get them off the sprues without damage.
The hull parts feature petite rivets and panel lines. 6 major plates combined for the hull.
There's a little bit of an interior, including seats for the driver and commander, as well as butts for the guns.
The latter grace the tiny turret. It has a hatch that can be posed open. The amphibious drive system includes a prop and a movable rudder.
Photo etch metal is used for some of the bodywork, reinforcing strips, fender brackets, and the turret race.
A tiny decal sheet supplies markings for both Dutch East Indies tanks at different times in their careers.
This is one of those subjects that isn't well known but makes for an interesting project.
Back to 1/72nd scale. Let's take a look at Airfix's Boulton-Paul Defiant Mark I.
I just like the look of small planes with turrets in the back, like the Grumman Avenger. The Defiant looks like a Hawker Hurricane with a turret grafted on the back.
Designed as an interceptor, the Defiant's armament, 4 .303 caliber machine guns, were all located in that turret.
It was okay against bombers during the Battle of Britain, but the lack of forward-firing machine guns proved problematic.
It was outmatched by Bf-109s during the day, but it proved itself as a pretty good night interceptor.
Typical of Airfix's recent small-scale offerings, this is a honey of a kit. Fine engraved panel lines mark the major components.
The cockpit includes detailed walls, floor, seat, pedals, controls, and instrument panel.
In addition to the 4 guns, the turret has a seat, suspended basket, and controls.
2 crew figures are included. The clear parts look terrific, with optional parts for open and closed cockpits, as well as raised and lowered fairings between the cockpit and turret.
Optional parts are provided for the upper fuselage behind the turret, which could be retracted for a better field of fire.
A one-piece lower wing establishes the dihedral. There's a good-looking main wheel well here too.
I like a lot of the kit's features. Optional parts to model the gear up or down, separate rudder, fine exhausts and prop, and one-piece scoops.
Cartograph decals provide markings for 2 Defiants, a day fighter from July 1940 and a shark-faced night fighter from February 1941.
This is a terrific looking kit, another gem from Airfix. Now, how about a 1/48 scale Defiant, guys?
Look for a review of Kane in an upcoming issue of FineScale Modeler magazine.
And you can see more new products in the July issue on sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com. I'm Tim Kidwell.
And I'm Aaron Skinner. We'll see you next time.
Bye. 3, 2.
That's true. It's always been one of my favorites.